Why are you wearing this? What is matriculation about?
Basically, your formal induction to the cult.
Would you be comfortable sharing how your grades were at school?
I never been like the best in class.
Do you have a tip for anyone who wants to get into Oxford?
Be delusional in your capabilities.
Have you experienced any of the Oxford traditions yet?
To go write our names in one of the old books.
Like the crypt of our founder.
Today marks a new academic year at Oxford University, which means loads of new incoming students. Today we'll walk around the city asking them how did they manage to get into this university, and by the end of this video we'll know about all of the secret tips and tricks to get into a prestigious university like Oxford. So let's go. Well, first of all, thank you so much. What are your names and what are you studying?
So my name is Omar. I'm doing a Master of Science in Applied Digital Health.
My name is Sergey. I'm also doing a Master's in Applied Digital Health.
My name is Ing, currently doing MBA.
My name is Anton Naumenko. I study Master of Science in Applied Digital Health.
I am Francesca. I'm doing my master's in early modern literature from 1550 to 1700.
My name is Preston. I'm getting my MSc in Politics Research.
My name is Vikas. I'm studying DPhil in Surgical Sciences.
I'm Freya and I'm doing a DPhil in Engineering Science.
I'm Anuprita and I'm also doing a DPhil in Engineering Science.
Congratulations on matriculating. What does your outfit mean? Like, what is matriculation? How has your day been so far?
That's a really good question. I couldn't tell you what the pieces of the outfit mean. It meant I spent a lot of money to make sure that I was wearing the proper things. Otherwise, the day's been really, really great. It's really nice to be part of this tradition, even though I feel like as Americans, this isn't a culture that we're very familiar with.
This is called an academic gown. We have this mortar cap, which we're not allowed to wear indoors, but you can wear it outdoors.
This whole academic dress is also called subfusc, which I think translates from Latin to just very dark colors or something like that. A matriculation is something which kind of marks our membership as a part of the university.
So matriculation is basically your formal induction to the cult, to Oxford. The morning was pretty casual, very fast-paced and very intense.
So I think matriculation is a way to get inducted into the university, at least that's my understanding. This was the prescribed dress code of wearing a subfusc, which is black all the way through. So black shoes, black socks, black suit with either a bow tie, a tie or a ribbon. And then they give us a gown according to what level you are, I gather. So undergraduates have what I think is called a commoner's gown, and we get the postgraduate gown, which is just a bit longer.
Still yet, I'm not technically a student, and after the ceremony, which we have at 3, I'm gonna become one officially now. So far the day has been great. I took some pictures of me there, met some friends, and had a great day.
It's the first step of being a real Oxonian, in getting through these ceremonies to kind of remind you of what are you doing here in Oxford and what are you supposed to be doing moving forwards.
Have you experienced any of the other Oxford traditions yet?
I've been to the BOP. I'm not sure how Oxford specific that is.
We had our college matriculation last week.
Yeah. So we went to, I think it's just the chapel right across the street.
Yeah, it's the St. Mary's Church or the Virgin Mary.
Yeah. Whatever chapel's right across the street from us. We're still learning all of the names too.
Yes, the big one.
But we did another ceremony in Latin, and then they all called our names individually. We walked up and greeted the provost, correct? Yeah. And then we had to go write our names in one of the old books.
Like the crypt of our founder.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot. I feel within the city itself, there are sort of a lot of Oxford things to immerse into.
I attended a formal hall yesterday, which was very fun, and also I went to Oriel College, so the dining hall was very beautiful.
Did you also have the high tables and standing up?
Yeah, all of those things.
The Latin prayer?
Yeah.
I tried an outing at the boat club, so I tried rowing for the first time in my life.
Went to one formal dinner, which you have on Thursdays, at least in our college.
We also went to rowing. So I have never rowed before, and if I'm gonna commit to one sport this year, it should be something to do with the Oxford tradition. So,
what was your freshers week like so far? Have you had any weird experiences? Anything interesting happening?
One of my main goals was to try and get involved as much as possible because I didn't really have a community like this in undergrad. I ran for one of the social representative positions for our MCR, and that's been a great experience. I've been meeting a lot of really cool people.
We did bar training.
Yes, yeah.
So we learned how to be a bartender at the MCR bar.
Anything weird? I'm not sure actually. I think you come here thinking that you're gonna experience something weird, but up until now everything was pretty normal, pretty chill. A lot of pub nights, but yeah, too many.
It was very interesting to see that on the first day, everyone's putting forward their LinkedIn selves. Like, I did this and I went to that school and I'm interested in I don't know, just researching this really complicated topic. But then as the days go by, you just realize that everyone's just a normal person.
Probably the most interesting thing was Freshers Fair. I think there was a psychedelic society, which I don't think I was expecting to see.
To the Freshers Fair, and like I was shocked to see how many clubs and societies there are.
I saw a beekeeping society.
There's a skydiving society, which sounded very insane.
The fresher fairs, there's a lot of things to join. Well, on top of my mind, it would be the pole dance. It seems like really niche, but somehow it's like they have those kind of like sports or like game for like particular group of people.
Would you be comfortable sharing how well you did in school and a little bit about like your background?
I'm originally from Ukraine. I finished school there and I passed like national exams really well, got into undergrad for free tuition. I was really active in some social activities at the university at the time. I also actually got into a postgrad program there in Ukraine. But the problem was that in 2022 the war started, and because of the war I had to relocate. I ended up in Switzerland and had to finish it online. That's why I decided that I'm gonna pursue the degree in person so that I can have the full experience of being a postgrad student. And I remember submitting it at like 3 or 4 a.m., almost like a couple of hours before the deadline, and miraculously I'm here.
I had my undergraduate in America in a very small liberal arts school in Maine. I was very focused on school and yeah, did well in all my classes. I mean, yeah, I made sure to have a lot of extracurriculars.
I was kind of a workaholic in school. I loved all of my classes. I think I'm not trying to brag. I only ever got 1 A- on our grading system, and so almost a 4.0 because I really enjoyed what I did. And you always do better when you find something that you're passionate about. So it never felt like work. It always felt like I was just learning about things I cared about. Especially for people like wanting to go to Oxford, I think finding your passion area is really, really key because that's how you're going to be the most successful.
So to be honest, I never been like the best in class. Like I never got that like high grades since a kid. But I feel like the thing that got me here is mostly like experience. I have like quite like 5 to 6 year experience of work.
Yeah, so when we go way back, I wasn't that good in school. I had like a C average in 10th grade, but then I went to uni in Hamburg. I didn't have a perfect GPA as well, but I think I was just very passionate about my subject, very enthusiastic. And I've done a bit of research. I guess that helped a bit. I used to watch videos on how people got into this or that university just out of curiosity, and often people were mentioning, I'm not that intelligent. And I was always thinking like, you're lying, you're probably intelligent when you got in that university. But I wouldn't consider myself like being very intelligent, honestly. And I think it's just if you're passionate about your subject and you have done some work related to this, and you can show that passion. And of course, you have to reflect it in your grades in some way. You don't need a perfect GPA, at least not for our course.
What was the application process like for you? Was it more difficult or easier than you expected?
I think for MBA it would be slightly different, but definitely like all the MBA people would resonate with this. Is the GMAT itself that is like the toughest things, but the rest, I think like the interview, the process, like the school really designed it to be really to navigate.
It was fairly easy for me. I must say the application was what you'd expect for any of them. I just gave a personal statement, the transcripts and the references. The interview was, it was a bit nerve-wracking, I think, but it was fairly short. I think it was about maybe a 21 to a 30-minute interview.
To be honest, I didn't have much expectations towards it because I didn't know what it was going to be like. It was rather short. For us, it was just 15 minutes, out of which 6 or 7 minutes were taken by the directors of the program to explain what it actually is. So it wasn't that hard.
It was pretty much what I expected, kind of across the board for grad school applications. I think 3 or 4 recommendations from professors, and I think we had like 3 about 6,000 to 7,000 word essays to also submit.
I think it depends on the program that you're looking at as well, because I had to submit some writing samples, but they weren't quite as long and I didn't need to like make them or anything like that. The letters of rec I was expecting, but that always makes me nervous trying to like ask faculty, like, can you talk well about me? Like, can you say good things about me, please? But, that's always really key, is making those connections. But one thing that I wasn't expecting that I think actually did help me, though, was on my application, there was a place where you could put a preferred supervisor, somebody that you wish would be your supervisor for whatever thesis you're doing. And so looking through the faculty members here and finding people who are doing research in similar areas and just shooting them an email and saying, hey, I'm interested in applying. Do you think you could supervise me? I think that really helped.
Yeah, so the interviews were 15 minutes with two of our course directors. It was a bit stressful because 15 minutes you try to give very short answers, so I felt a bit stressed by that, but generally I think it was very pleasant. When you try to see the interview process more as trying to explain more about why you want to go there and why Oxford can help you, then you can even have like a positive outlook and be excited about the interview.
For the interview, the personal statement is really important. So you only have, I think it was 1,000 words to talk about your background, your future aspirations, long and short-term goals, how Oxford is gonna bridge that gap from where you are now to where you want to be. So I'd really focus on that. And also if you can connect with professors early on in your application process, so you make sure that they have time to write a proper reference letter.
Do you have like a tip for anyone who wants to get into a university like Oxford, like something that a lot of people don't know but is very helpful to know?
For my particular field, having some experience in research was very helpful.
As basic as it sounds, just be delusional in your capabilities. Like when I applied, I knew it was a long shot. Our program accepts 18 people a year. So I didn't think I would get in, but I just said, why not? You have nothing to lose, so just be delusional and maybe it will work out.
And also be delusional like years before you apply. I reached out to professors from other countries and that gave me the opportunity to work with them. It might have been delusional just to ask like professors from around the world, hey, do you want to work with me, or is there any chance we can talk? Even if you think, oh, I might not be capable of like doing this type of research or this type of work, just try it. This applies both to the application process and all the stuff you do outside of it.
I would encourage them not to be shy in their applications. Obviously, you shouldn't be way too arrogant and say, oh, I know everything. But if you have some sort of experience, it's always worth highlighting. And in terms of structuring your application, I think what is really important is, first of all, to make sure that you cover all the bullet points that are listed on the application, and make sure that those bullet points don't just come at random as bullet points, but rather flow in some sort of a storyline.
Try to not just like focus on academic skills itself, but try to have like a lot of experience like across.
Just lean into your nerdy side. Like, don't worry. Just like go with what you are happy studying, because if you go to a place like Oxford, if you want to go to a place like Oxford, you're going to have to work really hard, do what you are into, and don't be worried about like how practical it's going to be in the real world, because so much can happen, especially at a place like Oxford.
Passion is going to be key, but also networking is really important. Not necessarily just networking within your own university, but like I said earlier, like reaching out to faculty members here, even just asking about their research, reading their papers and saying, you do really interesting things, how did you get to where you are? Making human connections, I think, is a really key component that people overlook.
After talking to all of these students, I think the key takeaway is, yes, these people work very hard to get to Oxford, but also don't underestimate yourself. It's always worth trying to apply to these universities rather than thinking, what if? If you want to learn about experiences from students who have been in Oxford for a longer time, check out the video above. Otherwise, if you like the format, give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!